like that. Well, it was somewhat of a distraction. It was somewhat of a distraction. It wasn't nearly what it could be. And so we just decided to just stop it entirely. But what it has done, it has invited a whole new market of people that want private training. Because I have told you guys this, and I've told you guys this from the get-go, one-on-one training is coming back around and is a very, very important. Of that 12,000, Leo, how much of that is one-on-one package? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So people are wanting to do that. And a lot of it is these athletes that are coming back. And I'm fine doing it in a one-on-one setting where I don't have to have a separate website and a separate marketing plan and a separate this and separate that. It's now just a private training option. But I mean, that's 8,000 a month. The program in a couple of weeks, the program at its worst was doing 12. So we're just kind of getting started with that stuff. So sometimes you have to kind of make a hard decision to let some things go in order to grow and have a more lucrative option. So thanks, Leo. All right. Who wants to go next?
Hey, Vince, it's Billy. I want to tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
This is this is really interesting, you guys. So we've added a few personal training clients, I think 5 in the past week. I didn't do anything to get them, but here's the interesting thing. A lady called me yesterday and said, Billy, I don't know if you remember me, but you trained me 33 years ago.
You're dating yourself, Billy.
I know. I'm just putting it in context. 33 years ago.
Wait, hold on.
Eric,
how old were you then?
33 years ago.
No, Derek Ledwidge.
Derek.
How old were you 33 years ago?
I was 3.
Okay.
Will Matheson, how old were you?
He said he wasn't a thought.
Awesome. Go ahead, Billy. Sorry.
It's just so funny. Then I got another kid who came in 15 years ago. Okay. I used to train him. He's 40 now. I trained him for, NBA stuff. And then I had another one. She was 22 years ago, but I don't know why they're coming in now. It's just really odd that these people from decades ago are reaching out to me. So we added like 5 personal training clients. It's just very funny to me. 33 years ago, I was like, holy cow. And I remember her really well.
There are some benefits to being really old, Billy.
You are not
very good.
I can recycle everything and look like brand new again.
Good job. It's funny you say that, Billy, because we had a kid come back recently that was a high school athlete of ours. And he came back as an out of shape, fat, what is he, an accountant or is he a sales guy or something like that? But he was like a stud athlete in high school, like a stud. And now he's like, and his parents paid for him, and now he's a working man. But those are people that, like, maybe if you used to train younger kids and you've been in business for a while and they are older now, maybe they are home. That's why one of my lessons last week was who's in their home? Who's in your client's home? Do they have a cousin that's staying in from out of town? Do they have a kid that needs training? We just signed up a $1,800 a month membership, one person, 5 days a week, personal training, one-on-one over Zoom. And it was a kid, he's autistic, but he's a kid of one of our members who they were the program they were doing like ended or something and needed a trainer to continue their fitness. So it was like, for the next 12 months, we'll have an extra $1,800 a month in revenue from that one thing, from that one kid. So who else is to reiterate my lesson last week, who else is in the home of your current clients? And can you create some kind of an initiative for who else is living in the homes of your current clients during this period of time? So good job, Billy. All right. Someone else go.
I'll go.
Go ahead, no.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
What's up? So I'm also getting more involved and more educated on Nurture Ninja, and it's incredible the stuff that it can do. So, you know, I definitely haven't really taken advantage, but now I'm starting to create those campaigns and everything, and it's definitely been super helpful. Yeah, we put out the personal training packages, and we sold 4 already, like 10 session packages for $1,000. And we were able to even get them to pay cash, which was great. And last is I'm actually doing a little project with Larry, so I'm excited to be working with him. And we're gonna do like a 15-day, you know, crush the quarantine in 15 program. So we've been putting workouts in the membership site on the Nurture Ninja, and excited to work with somebody who's more entrepreneurial. You know, the thing is, like, I've been trying to work with some of my team members on doing stuff, and they just don't have the passion, the motivation to do stuff. They're more workers. So it's good to kind of work with somebody else who's kind of on my level. So I'm excited to be working with them to do this.
Awesome, man. Good job. Yeah, it's hard to make a tight end into a wide receiver. So, you know, you just gotta, you know, find the receivers. Good job, Noel. All right, someone else go. What else is going good in
I got one.
Derek? Derek and then Sippets. Wow, you guys are like awake today. Very good. I like it. I like it. Donna.
Let's see. I was always trying to do like nutrition coaching and like the online space. I was always having trouble sort of doing something different for the marketing plan as opposed to just in-house, and just because it is somewhat of a separate entity. And I started doing that really, really well over this last week. Really, I think I posted about going omnipresence like crazy. I started doing a photo shoot prep and just like logging everything on my stories for Instagram and everything, and live and Facebook, and then pushing them to my Facebook group and really getting a lot of people involved in there with like accountability and things like that. And I was actually been able to sell 5 people that I've never met before on just like the online training, and mostly the nutrition side. So I'm starting to market that really, like it's starting to take effect a lot more now. So that was pretty exciting. And then the last, actually as of right today, I got 5 people to join together because they quit Lifetime and they came here. So that's pretty sweet.
I cannot stress this enough. 4 months have gone by with the clients of Lifetime, Orange Theory, every other gym in your community. 4 months have gone by where they're not a client. They might as well not be a client anymore. They're free agents, right? They're free agents. And so what do you need to do? You need to reach out to the free agent. What would you pay right now for a list of the gym down the street's clients list, right? That the one that's closing, or the one that's not, you know, that's not going to reopen or whatever. You know, that is another way to think about this is other people's clients, and what are ways that you could get in touch with some of those people, because they're all free agents at this point right now. Great job, Derek. Sippets.
So the end of last week got pretty tense, I guess in my business and around here, just because, you know, we had the order to open, and then 3 hours before gyms in Michigan could open, the governor squashed it. So it's kind of like a fake out. But so, you know, made some calls, made some decisions, stuff like that. Wasn't feeling too great about it, but then had a beer with Eric Driver and felt much, much better on Saturday. And we're doing different things. We chose different directions, but the point is we were able to talk about it and figure out why the different directions made sense for our individual businesses. So that was kind of like just settled me down, and it's just nice to connect like that, the power of the group, I guess.
So, I mean, that's what, yeah, that's perfect, Brian. That's what this is about, right? And obviously Brian and Eric, you know, they are close to each other. And I know George and Jimmy have done stuff together. And George and Jimmy, actually, this is another good example of the mastermind. George and Jimmy combine. Did you guys ever get it to work? Well, tell us what happened, Jimmy.
Yeah, so we put together a petition, pushed some money into it. We wrote letters over and over, and you know, kind of ignited a flame in all the gym owners that we knew locally to write letters to the governor. And yeah, we got pushed. Personal training studios got pushed to phase 2 in about 2 weeks of effort from us. So we were on the news. We were on, one of my clients in here actually used to work for a news station, and she got us on the news twice. And then George was on the news once. I was on a local radio show as well. So we just like pushed and pushed and pushed to include like personal training services in phase 2 of reopening. And we've been in phase 2 now for almost 2 weeks. So yeah, they pushed us up about 2 weeks after we started our efforts into that phase 2 opening. So it was a combined effort, but it was pretty cool to, you know, George and I aren't competitive with each other because we're about 45 minutes away from each other, but same county. So yeah, it worked, and it was pretty sweet, all the effort we put in. So yeah, it's the power of the group there for sure.
That's awesome. And you did your first TikTok as well.
Yeah. After we were celebrating the win of it, and I went down to George's place and hung out with him for a day, and yeah, him and his wife do all these TikToks, so I jumped in on one of them. Yeah, it was funny.
So Vanessa, my wife, has been doing TikToks every day, and she's doing it in kind of strategically. She's starting a dance class. And so what she's starting to do is build like a following with these different TikToks. But like, she's doing these like dancing TikToks. And she was like, last night she was like doing it, and she's like sweating bullets, like doing these TikToks, and she kept doing it over and over and over again. And like, I didn't realize like how much time and effort goes into these stupid TikToks. I mean, there's an art to this, but it's very interesting. But when I saw you do it, I was like, that's good for you, Jimmy. Got it. People like us need to move our hips a little bit more, you know? All right, good. All right, give me a couple more. What else is good in your neck of the woods? Marlon.
Yeah, in my town, people go on vacation on July and August, but now where are they gonna go, right? So I've been telling them, hey man, instead of going on vacation, just come to the gym every day. There's your vacation. You're gonna work on your fitness. You're gonna meet all kinds of people, and use the opportunity to get ready for next year. Stay healthy. So I'm mounting a campaign as Body Mechanic, the destination for summer 2020.
Love it.
And it's working out. I already signed 4 people up. And people
Nice.
that were doing personal training are jumping into group, and I'm bringing people back because there's nowhere to go right now.
Awesome. I love that. So remember that our mindset, our leadership mindset throughout this whole thing, Jocko-like discipline, Stockdale-like productive paranoia, and Disney-like creativity. That's a great example of Disney-like creativity. You guys got to think, and when you're in the situation that we're in now, you have to think outside the box. You have to think, differently, and you have to come up with crazy ideas. And I can't stress this enough. You have to use the announcements of what's going on in your community to your advantage. Okay? When you get open outdoors, that needs to be a thing that you promote and that you market. When you get open inside with one-on-one, that needs to be a thing. So my voicemails are, I sent an email earlier yesterday saying, hey, we just got the word from the governor, and I did it almost like a news headline. Like governor and Gabriel Fitness come to an agreement and, are allowed to reopen for one-on-one training inside. So start to think about what these, Dan Kennedy talks about the most important thing in marketing is a reason why. That is why New Year's works. That is why Valentine's Day and Black Friday and all these other things work, because there's a reason. Black Friday is a reason to buy. New Year's is a reason to start getting in shape. Someone's birthday. Someone's birthday. Someone's birthday. Someone's birthday. Who did it? Who did it? Who took action on that last week? Who's an ass kicker and took action on that idea last week?
We have it in play.
Took action is doing, you did something. But the message last week was, man, birthdays and anniversaries are the two things people celebrate. Why the hell wouldn't we show up in both of those times? The anniversary of the gym and their birthday. And why wouldn't we show up in a way that's going to drive them to refer, that's going to drive them to buy? It's a no-brainer. And for those of you, and I saw some of you kicking yourself last week that you don't do anything for birthdays on your former members. It's a perfect opportunity. It's the perfect time to bring them back in. Birthdays and gym anniversaries. Birthdays and gym anniversaries. Do it. All right, one more. All right, Rod, you can go. Rod, go ahead. Busted. All right. All right.
Vince, you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're a little late.
Sorry, man. I was on a text message.
Oh, you're multitasking.
I am trying to multitask.
No multitasking allowed. Best thing that
happened
happened to you in the last week.
Ooh, last week. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. Florida has been in the clear for the first 3 months, but the last week has been, it's like we're going backwards, man. It's like our cases are spiking and people are freaking out. This has actually been, June was worse than the last 3 months combined. So it's, I don't have a whole lot of great news, but I'm still here, man.
Yeah, that is tough. Now, some of you that are going through those areas, those areas of the country that are regressing, there's a good chance that most of us, we'll go through a regression period, especially, maybe like earlier into the fall and things like that. But going back to what I said before, is the way to ride this storm out is to stay cash flow neutral. The way to ride the storm out is to stay cash flow neutral. Yes, it's going to be very hard, when you're closed, to add a ton of new members. Okay, not impossible, but hard. So what you need to do as the business owner is to protect the cash. Okay, and that may mean lowering payroll. Right? You can only play with your rent for so long, but your payroll can be played with. And it may need to make hard decisions. So, at GFP, we used to promise full-time trainers an average of 30 to 40 hours a week. And I had the conversation with them and said, I can't promise you anything. I can't promise you any hours. We're going to do the best we can to give you guys as many hours as possible, but that's a conversation we have to have. We have a certain amount of clients right now. We have a certain amount of sessions that are going on. And I do think the one-on-one for us personally will help. But the reality is you can't just keep promising what you had before. Remember, this is an important point. During a pandemic, employee productivity is the most important thing. In normal times, the most important thing is employee satisfaction. You can't play both sides during this period of time. So if you're going through a tough spot, you have to adjust and adapt. The good thing all of you have is you have a base of revenue, right? All of you have a base of revenue. None of you have gone to zero, not one of you. All right, so you have the base of revenue and you have to play with that base of what you have, all right, and do everything you can to grow that base. But if you're having trouble, and rightfully so, it's like, yes, most people are having trouble growing, in a big way. Then you have to adjust the expenses accordingly. for that, and protect the business by staying cash flow neutral. So all that leads me to some personal development for you guys today. I want you to write this down. I want you to write this down. The world is your teacher. So what do I mean by the world? Okay. Well, the world is COVID-19. Well, the world is a disgruntled client. The world is a trainer that quits on you. The world is you're running out of money, right? The world is your teacher. I told the story on my email, but I'll tell it again. And I think I've told this before, but it's a good story. So my youngest sister, she's like 30 or something like that. She was engaged to be married and literally caught her fiance cheating on her like a couple months before the wedding. And then the wedding's canceled and everything's like that. And like everyone's like, oh, poor Ashley. Oh, this and that, poor Ashley. I'm like, what the fuck? Thank you card. Send the dude a thank you card. Because he just like gave you a get out of jail free card. It's like, it's preposterous what goes on. But that's where you got to look at all this stuff that's happening. And think about it like this. If you break your foot, right? If you break your foot, you're out for like a little bit, right? What happens if you lose your foot? What happens if you have to get your foot amputated?
You gotta adjust.
Yeah, you get a new foot. Technology is amazing these days. You get a new foot. That's the mindset. You know, and again, this is not an easy thing to have, right? And I'm not sitting here to saying that I'm perfect with all this, but the reality is, all the negative emotion that you have, all right, can be transformed into this is something that showed up for me to teach me something. That's all it is. The world is your teacher. All of the events that happen in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your home, and everything is your teacher. So there are things that like show up in my life that I'm like, man, I really wish this wasn't true about me. I wish I didn't have this problem. And then I find myself looking at my 8-year-old daughter that has the same problem that I have. And I was able to sit with her and help her throughout this period of time and make her feel better and happier about the problem that she had. Before it was I got this problem, now is I got this gift. Because if I didn't have the problem, I wouldn't have been able to be there for my daughter. So it's the way you have to think right now. Because what's the other way? Like, what's the other way, Rod? We just like, oh, Florida, you know, this and that, it's going down the tubes. Like, no, like, how do you turn this into something different? And I'm not saying like, let's be positive and think about positive thinking and come on, guys, let's go, think positive. And that's bullshit. But how do you roll this into every event that happens to you? Whether it's good or bad is not like just, you know, and don't even get, this is like a problem. This is a problem I see. A problem I see is when people get really high when good things happen and really low when bad things happen. that's a recipe to be unhappy, because you're always waiting for those things to happen that are good. And good stuff doesn't happen all the time. So almost start to develop this like even keel mentality of like, oh, that's good. Oh, that was bad. Right? Oh, I learned from that. What do you learn from that? So you're going to save yourself a lot of stress and anxiety with thinking like this. But that's just keep going back to the world is your teacher. The world is your teacher. The world is your teacher. That showed up for you for a very, very specific reason. All right, so there's your mindset lesson for the day. So I want to kind of give you tell you guys what I did on my 41st birthday, because I think it could be helpful for you guys. So I woke up on my 41st birthday with an idea, and I said, I'm going to do a big list of 41 things. So 41 things that are going to benefit gym owners. So like, the top 41 life lessons, business lessons, things like that. And so the first thing I did was I took my yellow legal pad out and I put my mind on to, what do gym owners need help with?